Welcome to Bible Tank. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most intriguing and often overlooked subjects within biblical history. We're exploring the world before the flood, the early civilizations, ethnic groups, and the mysteries surrounding the first people of the earth. Specifically, we'll look at the ethnic lineages that stemmed from Adam and Eve's descendants and understand their appearance, culture, and role in God's plan before the flood wiped the earth clean. We'll also look at these pre-flood groups known as antediluvian civilizations and how they could have displayed a fascinating range of physical diversity even before Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, gave rise to the ethnic groups we know today. Some questions we'll explore include: were there peoples and civilizations that no longer exist? Could there have been races entirely lost in the flood? And what does this diversity tell us about God's original design for humanity? If you're ready to uncover the mysteries of the ancient peoples and dive into an in-depth biblical examination, please like this video, leave a comment, and consider sharing it with others who might find it interesting. Now, let's begin with today's topic: the secrets of the four races before the flood, the untold story. To understand these ancient peoples, we first turn to the scriptures themselves. Genesis chapters 4 and 5 tell us of two primary family lines that came from Adam and Eve. The first line is that of Cain, Adam's oldest son, Genesis chapter 4, verse 17. Cain's descendants became one group of humanity, carrying his line forward. Then, after the tragic murder of Abel, Adam and Eve had a third son, Seth, Genesis chapter 5, verse 3. Seth's family lineage formed the second line, known as the Sethites. These two family lines, Cain's and Seth's, make up the pre-flood groups of humanity. This is where our journey into understanding the early ethnicities begins. Many might wonder, how could ethnic diversity have emerged from one man, Adam? This is a reasonable question. If Adam was created from the earth, it's likely his appearance reflected a blend of physical characteristics. Similarly, God crafted Eve to be Adam's helper and companion, potentially with similar earthy or mixed features. From this beginning, a range of physical traits would have been possible among their descendants. When we examine the idea of Adam and Eve having diverse physical traits, it opens a new perspective. From the very beginning, God designed Adam and Eve with a variety of characteristics that would have manifested in their children. Over generations, this genetic potential likely led to early differences in skin color, features, hair textures, and other traits that could have resembled the diversity seen in humanity today. This diversity existed long before the genetic lines of Shem, Ham, and Japheth after the flood. For example, we might envision that some of Adam's descendants had darker skin, while others had lighter tones. Perhaps some had curly hair, others wavy, and some straight. These physical variations would have naturally developed within Cain and Seth's lines, setting the stage for the diverse ethnicities that would later arise through Noah's sons after the flood. Genesis chapter 1 verse 27 tells us that God made mankind in his image, suggesting that God's creation was intentionally diverse. Thus, every human trait, whether in Cain's or Seth's line, could be seen as a reflection of God's creativity and design. Now, let's go over the four main races or ethnic groups known before the flood. While most of us are familiar with Noah's three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their descendants, it's fascinating to consider that each of these family lines has proto-groups that existed before the flood. Let's discuss these proto- or pre-Semites, proto-Hamites, and proto-Japhetites groups that would later become the known ethnicities after the flood. These groups are sometimes called proto-Semitic, pre-Hamitic, and proto-Japhetic. The prefix proto or pre signifies that these groups existed before the floodwaters came. The first of these ancient groups were the proto-Semites, forebears of the Semitic peoples we know today. Shem, Noah's son, would become the father of the Semitic ethnic groups, Genesis chapter 10, verse 21. But his ancestors living long before the flood may have shared similar traits with the later Semitic peoples, like the Hebrews and Arabs. What would these pre-flood proto-Semites have looked like? If we look at historical Semitic groups, they typically have had beige or light brown skin that sometimes darkens under the sun. Dark hair, often wavy, brown eyes, and long, prominent facial features like hooked or arched noses are common traits. The proto-Semites might have displayed similar features, passing these characteristics down through Shem's descendants after the flood. These early Semitic groups likely developed a unique culture even before the flood, centered on their family lineage and traditions, and lived primarily in the Middle Eastern regions. After the flood, Shem's line continued this legacy, becoming the root of the Semitic peoples. Next, we have the proto-Hamites, another ethnic group that existed before the flood and within both Cain's and Seth's lineages. After the flood, Ham's descendants were associated with regions in Africa and parts of the Middle East. The Hamitic peoples are often connected with darker skin tones, a feature that would have been shared by the proto-Hamites. The Bible gives us clues about the Hamitic appearance, mentioning dark skin, broad features, and curly hair traits commonly found in Africa today. According to Genesis chapter 10, Ham became the father of the Cushites, Egyptians, and other North African peoples. The proto-Hamites likely had dark brown or black skin, broad noses, and thick curly hair. Their eyes ranged from dark brown to lighter brown shades, and their height was usually above average, often around 6 feet tall or more. These characteristics would have been evident in both the Cainite and Sethite lines before the flood, showing that ethnic diversity was present even in the ancient world. The proto-Hamites contributed to this rich tapestry, representing God's design through varied skin tones, hair textures, and physical builds. The third ancient group was the proto-Japhetites, which split into two distinct types, the Japhetites and the pre-Hamites. This diversity among the Japhetites points to the wide-ranging genetic potential God placed within Adam's lineage. After the flood, Japheth's descendants spread across Europe and parts of Asia. One branch of these proto-Japhetites, like Japheth himself, was characterized by very light skin, blonde or red hair, and often blue or green eyes. Another group within Japheth's line, the Togarmahites, displayed features often associated with early Asian groups, such as almond-shaped eyes, darker straight hair, and light to medium brown skin. Some ancient texts suggest that the Togarmahites may have settled in Asia, giving rise to various Asian ethnic groups after the flood. Their height varied, usually between 5'9" and 5'11", although some may have been taller. These traits, common among both Cain's and Seth's lines before the flood, suggest that diversity within the Japhetic line was significant, foreshadowing the eventual European and Asian peoples. Finally, we have the fourth and most distinct ethnic group in Adam's time, the original mixed race. This group represented the vast genetic diversity God built into humanity. People in this group displayed a wide array of features: light skin, dark skin, curly hair, straight hair, brown eyes, green eyes, everything that would become more pronounced after the flood. Imagine a family with 7 children, each with different combinations of these traits. One child might have dark skin and curly hair, another might be light-skinned with straight hair, and yet another could have a mixture of both parents' features. This is likely what humanity looked like before the flood, an incredible diversity that showed God's creativity. Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. When God commanded humanity to be fruitful and multiply, emphasizes how varied He intended human characteristics to be. Adam and Eve's children and grandchildren could have represented the full range of human features, from Asian to African, Semitic to European, and everything in between. This original mixed group would have passed down a heritage of varied traits, influencing humanity's appearance even before the flood. Another aspect to consider is the influence of other beings on early human genetics. Some ancient texts, like the Book of Enoch, suggest that celestial beings interacted with humans before the flood. These interactions reportedly led to the birth of giants and other hybrids, Enoch chapter 6 verse 1-2, hinting that other lineages may have existed alongside Adam's descendants. These beings, referred to as the sons of God, could have contributed to additional genetic diversity in early humanity. The Book of Enoch describes their interactions as resulting in unique features and physical abilities, which would further contribute to the ethnic diversity among pre-flood groups. If you found this discussion helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep Bible insights. Until next time, keep searching the Word, seeking the truth, and may God bless you all.